Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways. Bitcoin at about 26,000 and Ethereum still hovering around that $1,600 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are pretty much following Bitcoin's lead and going sideways. However, guys, there are some good opportunities in this market, some dips, some rallies, and we need to be prepared. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is retracing and is potentially at some support, and that project is called Akash. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, feel free to join that Discord. Great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at what's happening in this market. We'll look at the top 100, then we'll jump into the Bitcoin chart to see what's going on there with Bitcoin as a leading indicator. It might tell us what this market is looking for in the short term. And of course, we'll take a look at Akash. That's the project for today, the ticker AKT. All right, guys, let's begin. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a bounce to the upside, nothing significant, still within range overall. Same with Ethereum, still within range, kind of bouncing around there at the tops, at the range. At the end of the day, guys, these two heavyweights need to give us a bit of an indication what is going to be happening in the immediate short term, and nothing just yet. So let's be very, very patient for these heavyweights to give us a signal. But in the meantime, we're focusing on altcoins, and the only reason why is because it's the best time to start getting bullish on some of these projects, start doing the research, start looking for setups, start looking for dollar cost average opportunities. Okay, so we have XRP coming down, we have a lot of these altcoins, pretty much XRP all the way down to Solana, pretty much coming down and going sideways. That's the name of the game lately, going down or going sideways. You have Toncoin looking strong, but still only up approximately 2%, nothing crazy. But nonetheless, if we keep on going down, there are still some dips, still overall dipping and going sideways. That's the name of the game lately here. So something to be aware of. XLM getting a bit of a dip here, back to lower levels, maybe range lows, something to take a look at, of course, if you're interested. AVAX back at the bottom range, still hanging out there, guys, down approximately 7% for AVAX. Not the best thing, but nonetheless, this is where we're at, guys. A lot of these layer ones are dipping down. A lot of them are looking for that support very desperately. And of course, risk to reward ratios are probably very healthy, especially if they are looking for support at previous lows type of thing. So pay attention to those charts, guys. I do have some setups and charts available on the Discord ready to go, so go check those out. I'm definitely posting charts on a daily basis, so we want to stay one step ahead here, guys, and we need to pay attention because Bitcoin at any moment could be making that move. We do have Monero reaching those higher levels, maybe range highs, maybe getting that bit of a dip or a rejection very soon. So be careful. We got to understand that the overall market right now is not really giving me that signal. Bitcoin right now is still hesitating here. As it hesitates and as it's building some data for us, we could see some, good peaks and valleys on altcoins. But nonetheless, keep the big picture in mind. Bitcoin rallied up significantly. It came up 100% from its bottom. What are the chances it's going to keep on going? Now, it could. Obviously, it could. We can start a bull run right now, right? But at the end of the day, the probability is that Bitcoin is going to be looking for a bit of a dip, a confirmation low, a higher low. And if that's the case, we're going to expect a lot of these altcoins to follow its lead. Now, I'm not saying they're going to dump and, basically go to zero, but we will potentially get some good buy opportunities at lower levels on some fire sales. So that's what we're going to be looking out for. And you guys know that I'm bullish on HBAR, I'm bullish on Filecoin, I'm bullish on many projects, but I cannot discredit the fact that if if Bitcoin comes down, we will be getting good entries. VeChain looking pretty bullish, up approximately 4.2%. It is now listed on Coinbase, so that's a very bullish thing for VeChain. I've been waiting for that bullish signal for the last little while. We should see some good volume, some good interest going forward. Long positions are definitely now in the green. Optimism looking pretty good here, up 2%. Maker looking pretty good, up 4.6%. I'm wondering what triggered that little rally there. So there are some projects doing pretty good, but look at Near Protocol, look at Arbitrum, not doing much. Guys, look at Kaspa, 12.5% to the upside, guys. Short-term spots for me are deep in the green. Guys, if you've been following me on the channel with regards to Kaspa, you know I was very hesitant getting into fresh longs, and that is because I already got a good entry, and I'm already basically bags packed for my long-term spots. But overall right now, the way I'm looking at it is I'm ready to basically take more profit. Right now we're up 12.5% in 24 hours, 17% in 7 days. We're in those double-digit gains. Get defensive, protect the gains, right? Kaspa right now could be getting a rejection at any moment. It is currently at a level where maybe double tops or gets to extension levels in price discovery. So this is what we got to be careful with now, guys. If you're deep in the green, protect the gains, trail up a stop loss, take a bit of profits off the top. If it does dip, scale right back in. That's the way you do it, guys. You buy the bottoms and sell the tops, ride those ebb and flows so that you can pack a fatter bag for the bull run. This is what we're looking for Kaspa. I'm bullish nonetheless. All right, let's continue here. Good opportunities, definitely some good opportunities. Algorand doing the very same thing as many of those other layer ones, you know, grinding at the bottom of the range, trying to prove to the market that they are holding support, and this is where you can potentially get in at a good risk to reward ratio. Stacks, wow, Stacks looking pretty good. Looks like an inverse head and shoulders in the short term, up 3.2%, not bad looking there. What else do we have? Injective looking pretty good, top of the range though, so be careful if we get rejected at range highs. Maybe we're coming down. What is going on here with this spike to the upside? 40%. What is going on here? What is this? CUSDT, is this some sort of stable coin that's not so stable? What is it? I have no idea, but definitely you know, I'll do some research whenever I have some chances. Render holding steady, up 10% almost in the last 7 days. Pretty good. I'm still not convinced. I still feel like Render right now is getting a bit of a hype based on Apple news, you know, new releases with Apple, and Render being part of that whole, you know, ecosystem or narrative. You know, Render might be bouncing up based on that, but generally speaking, for me, guys, I'm not interested. I'm waiting for it to come down to back to about $1.20, give or take, and then I'm interested. I want to get in at a bottom with a confirmation, with a good structure, and then I'm in. So keep an eye on Render, because I'm ready to deploy capital if we come down a little bit more. And I'm ready to deploy capital on other projects within that same narrative that Render plays. Right now, Render is a heavyweight within that narrative, but I'm looking at lower cap projects that are basically wanting to compete with Render, that are fully decentralized and offer great value proposition. So pay attention, because I do release deep dives and I do release a lot of updates with regards to projects that are looking interesting. Go check it out. All right, let's continue. Kava, not really interested. KuCoin, go to higher levels. Unfortunately, I'm not interested in KuCoin. I think KuCoin, you know, KYC'd, and I'm not interested. I don't support KYC, none whatsoever, basically. Gala, did it find its bottom? Did Gala finally find its bottom, guys? It's trying its best to find bottom. It could be possible. It's a bit of a risky play overall. Yeah, I don't know, guys. If you know, DCing bit by bit is obviously the greatest strategy, but at the end of the day, as you keep on DCing, and if the project keeps on coming down, that's the issue. You run out of capital eventually, and you almost have to cut yourself off. Almost like when you go to the bar and the bartender says, you know what, no, that's enough for you. Almost a similar thing. You got to say, enough is enough. I've scaled in. Let me go and look at another project. And you know what? The likelihood is that it's going to bounce, and you would have wished you would have gotten in. But there's going to be a point where you got to say is enough, right? That's the reality. Gala came down significantly, and it keeps on coming down. If you've been buying the dip, consider looking at other gaming projects. There's GFAL. If you missed that deep dive, go check it out, guys. I did a nice deep dive on GFAL. Pretty good there. Good fundamentals. Very similar to Gala. Strong team. All that. Go check it out. And there's, of course, my Myria. There's many other good projects. Speaking of Myria, guys, I'm thinking about doing a deep dive on Myria. Right now, that's probably the top contender for my deep dive that I'm going to begin researching on Friday, maybe even tomorrow. I release deep dives on Sundays, so prepare for that one. Myria is an interesting one, okay? So I'm interested, but I would rather look at other narratives. If you have any other projects that belong to different narratives, feel free to let me know. Actually, on the Discord, I do have a channel where you can go in there and make requests. So if you feel compelled and you have some projects on your radar and you want to share them, that's the best place to do it. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at what Bitcoin is doing, which is pretty much nothing. Still going sideways. Didn't make a higher high, didn't really do much in the last little while. At least we did get some green price action testing previous highs, and the question is, are we actually going to get a bullish breakout? Now, here on the channel, we follow momentum significantly. I'm a big momentum trader. I believe in following the strength of the market, and right now Bitcoin is showing a bit of strength to the upside, and you can see the momentum is picking up. Let's take a look at the RSI, the momentum oscillator, to see exactly what I'm talking about. We got into oversold conditions very clearly, and the momentum is slowly grinding to the upside. Every back test creates a higher low, and potentially right now we could be making a higher high here on the momentum, and finally take a little bit of a break here in the chop zone, which is in the 50% mark of the RSI. Okay, now let's look at the price action. Although we are trekking to the upside, the momentum is not strong enough to actually make this price break to higher levels. It doesn't mean that it can't, because the majority of the move usually comes after we pass the 60% mark here on the RSI percentage. Above 60% is usually when we get the most price action to the upside in this case. So that's a bullish thing. The fact is that we do have a bit of a volume gap right here. Okay, look at this empty space. The empty space between 26,600, give or take, and at about 28,800, give or take. This empty zone means there's a big weak spot. Straight down price action, straight up price action, and a bit of a, chop straight up, straight down price action, meaning there's no supply and demand looking left to act as resistance. As soon as we include more price action, though, there is looking left. But if we exclude it and you look at what's been happening just right here, there's a big weak spot. So it's very likely that maybe we do come up, get up to this level, maybe at about 28,000, 28,800, give or take, and then maybe we see the oversold conditions, the overbought conditions here on the RSI, and marrying up with this MACD. Look, the EMAs are facing up with green histogram bars to the upside. So in the short term, expectations of Bitcoin going to higher levels is very high. Okay, it's pretty high here, but how high could we go? Do we just make it lower high, maybe get to the point of control, maybe test this previous high, and that was it? Maybe full reset at that point and we're done. It could be very possible. So although the momentum is shifting to the upside, let's see if the price action actually benefits from this momentum and how high it could go. As soon as we get to overbought conditions, get defensive, start taking profits if you're in a long, or do what you got to do to protect yourself, because at the end of the day, once we get overbought, it's very likely that we start looking for another dip to the downside, testing these previous lows. Guys, I'm expecting Bitcoin ultimately, eventually, to break below 25K. Okay, I'm expecting that. Unfortunately, guys, that's what I believe. That's my conviction. But maybe a little bit of a dead cat bounce, maybe a bit of a confirmation, a lower high, and then a continuation to the downside is due. And then obviously, I'm looking for lower levels right around this zone, maybe about 22,600 to about 21, give or take, golden pocket retracement 21,300. And we'll see what happens, guys. I'm not going to try to get ahead of myself here. I'm going to try to stay one step ahead, day by day, and we'll take a look at what's going on here. But right now, we are at a good level of support, highs, lows, and although we did get a death cross, we're getting that death cross, at the end of the day, a little bit of a bounce to the upside before we actually get that, dip down based on the cross. It could happen. So we got to be very patient here. The 4-hour, right now it's a bit choppy, not really giving me much of an edge. We're going to get overbought maybe and then finally come down. Honestly, the daily is where it's at right now. The 4 hours not even giving it to me, so I'm not even going to be looking at the daily, the 4 hour. The daily, just wait for the daily to fully reset and then we can build our thesis once again. Okay, guys, so this is my take on Bitcoin. As a leading indicator, it looks like it might get a bit of relief to the upside, and if it does, maybe suck a bit of that liquidity out of the market. There's Bitcoin, altcoins do best when Bitcoin goes sideways. That's the reality. And Bitcoin has been going a bit sideways lately, and there's been a few altcoins that have been popping off. Okay, that's the reality. But the range that I'm really eyeballing is if we do get a bit of relief and we stay within this type of consolidation right around here, within this range, that maybe a distribution range, is when I may see altcoins, or we may see altcoins, do very well. Let's take a look at the token for today, or the project for today. AKT is the ticker. It is Akash Network, coming down to lower levels, guys. Obviously, I'm looking for dips. I'm always looking for buy the dip opportunities, and that's because I look for very, very healthy risk to reward ratios. I want to buy low and sell high, of course, like many of us want to do that. But the only way you really secure that is waiting patiently for retracements. And you can see Akash basically retraced pretty accurately here. I've been covering Akash very lightly, right? Very, very lightly and very sparingly. There are a few members of the community that are big into Akash, but personally, I didn't buy in. This was the time to buy in. This green arrows where I was covering it, this was the time to buy in, and this was the time to potentially take profits with this bearish divergence. Higher high on the price action, lower highs on the RSI, and the volume and the MACD slowly started coming down to lower levels. And we can see that this retracement is pretty decent, but I don't think it's done yet. Right now, we're tagging in that 786. Which is a great retracement. It's not the deepest, but it's a great retracement. But guys, look at this horizontal potential support that we have here right now. I just want you to take a second and go look at the retracement that Kaspa had, and it hit that green arrow, very similar to what Akash is doing right now. It hit the first green arrow, and the likelihood is right now we are very oversold on the 4-hour. You can see that we're exiting that oversold. While we're oversold and the price action is going sideways, we see that the momentum, the RSI, is moving up. Guys, that's class A bullish divergence, what's happening right now. Now, if the price action creates a lower low, that's class A. If the price action continues going sideways, that's class B bullish divergence. Regardless, it looks like the price action is diverging, okay, at this horizontal level of support. Something to be aware of, okay? It is a 786. We do have previous price action right around this zone. Nothing else really prior to that to be aware of. Let's get in the daily for a second to consolidate some of this noise. And you can see that we're hanging out here. Personally speaking, I have put a high probability that we break through this volume gap. If you look at the volume gap that I isolated right here, and you compare it to the VPVR and to the price action looking left, we basically have no volume here to act as support. The majority of the volume begins at about 70 cents, 69 cents. And that's where I'm expecting a bit of support. A couple of levels of confluence here, previous price action, of course, and we do have the fact that the 200 daily EMA is slowly trekking to the upside to potentially roll sideways and eventually act as support here. And if the price action does come down, it's very likely that the 200 daily is going to help build some confluence for some support, if you get what I mean. Now, if you look at the daily, the momentum, the RSI basically is still in the chop zone. We're still in the chop zone, right within the 40%, 50% mark, which leads me to believe that it's very possible that we get fully oversold and get down to about 69 cents, 70 cents. Now, what about the bullish divergence that we're seeing here? You can see that the bullish divergence price action is coming down on the daily very clearly. Lower lows on the price action. Let's put that in and let's get it a solid. Let's make it a solid line right now. And you can see that the MACD is upward sloping very clearly. Let's make that bit better. Right? Higher lows on the MACD. MACD is not done yet. It is a lagging indicator, so it does take time to actually produce these histogram bars, but it is in the red, and so far this cluster of histogram bars are a bit higher. However, guys, look at the EMAs. They're still facing down in the bearish control zone, which means that maybe we continue. And as we speak, we're still pushing down below that 85 cent mark. It's very likely the fact is that we don't have any support below it, that we can snap right to about that 69 cent mark. So you're taking a bit of a chance. What are the risks? Let's talk about the risk. Of course, we talk about risk to reward ratio. The risk is that if you go long, this actually gets a full reset. And it comes down to oversold conditions. And then, of course, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get hurt. And that would just basically be, basically confirm the fact that we do have that volume gap. And the likelihood is that we do get that support based on the gap and get full reset. Okay, so you're taking a bit of a chance. But what about if you don't have a position right now? The reality is that you're taking a bit of a chance with this bullish divergence on the MACD, the horizontal support that's there, that's looking okay. So honestly, right now, it's about either you're going to DCA and get in with a bit of a position here, or you're going to wait patiently for this to come down and keep your fingers crossed that it hits our target so that we can buy the dip very heavy. Now, obviously, DCA removes the risk of missing out. You know, if you have a bit of FOMO, you can get in with a bit of a bag and then buy heavier as it comes down into the 70% mark, so that you can basically bring your average position down, your cost down, and that would be very healthy for that bounce, because then you'll be in profits a lot sooner. But the risk on the daily is that we get oversold, right? That's the risk right now. We didn't get oversold here. Who's to say that will happen again? Maybe it will happen again when we never get oversold. The last time we got oversold barely was down here, right? So obviously, guys, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen here, but we can say one thing, is that sometimes DCAing is the best strategy. Don't try to catch that falling knife. Get in nice and slow. I would like you to look at this project and look at the price action and compare it to Kaspa's chart. It's very similar. Kaspa got support at a good level like this, and it started bouncing. It didn't even get a full reset to oversold conditions and started bouncing. And that's a sign of strength, sign of bullishness, a sign of strong sentiment. And if it does get that bounce, guys, who knows? We could be visiting our previous highs once again at about $1.70 and maybe even break out. So DCA nice and slowly. Let's go back into the 4 hour to see if we can snipe some scenarios. We do see that we're oversold. We got oversold, lower lows on the price action, lower lows also on the RSI, which is no divergence really happening here. It could be that we do break out. Now, just this little zone right here is my issue. This little zone right here, we can see that maybe we do create some divergence, maybe continue creating a higher high on, or higher low on the RSI and lower lows on the price action. Guys, that would be a class A bullish divergence. So keep an eye on it. I still feel the bias is to the downside. So be very slow and steady about things, and methodical, calculated risk, of course. And let this thing fall. If it's going to fall, it's going to fall hard. And then we'll be buying the dip at lower levels, guys. I would be putting a little bit of a notification right around this area, right around here, because that way, if it does get down to that zone, you have a notification letting you know that is game on, basically game on. So game on. If we hit that level at about the 886, I'm interested. That's a deep retracement. And if you look at it, guys, you're not buying tops. Even if you get in right now, it's still not bad based on the 4 hour, and the daily is not looking that bad either, but not oversold, unfortunately. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. See you tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where I talk about crypto news and price action. Join the Let's Talk Crypto show. It is a great opportunity to request any projects that you're interested in, guys. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Join the Discord, guys. Great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning material. Go check it out, guys. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.